Beloved child, there are steps that cannot be postponed forever, because they belong to the season I prepared for you before your heart even realized it was being called. The stirring moving within you is not a meaningless restlessness, nor is it a sign of confusion. It is the gentle awakening of my Holy Spirit, reminding you that the place where you are standing is no longer wide enough for what I desire to do next. Do not be afraid when you feel that your heart is no longer at peace with the old paths, because many times that holy unrest is the very way I draw you out of the familiar place that has held you for too long. Your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." As in Isaiah 30:21. Therefore, when that deep call echoes within your heart, listen with faith, and do not hastily silence it with the reasoning of fear. I am not calling you so that you may lose your way. I am calling you to bring you back into the right rhythm of my plan. Do not think that peace always means sitting still in a place where there are no more challenges. There is a kind of stillness that is merely the numbness of a soul that has grown too accustomed to darkness, but true peace is the strength that enables you to keep walking even among things you have not yet fully seen. I have not promised you that the road ahead will always be smooth, but I have promised that my light will be enough for each step. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As in Psalm 119:105, that lamp does not always illuminate the distant horizon, but it always shines enough upon the ground directly before your feet so that you do not have to stumble in despair. So do not demand to see every answer before you are willing to move forward. Faith is not holding the map of the entire journey in your hand. It is holding my hand and believing that I know the way. Even when you do not yet understand why you must turn, I know there are voices that will invite you to choose the easier path, the less painful path, the path that does not require you to change very much. They will whisper that you should remain where it is safe. Keep holding on to old habits. Delay just a little longer, because no one sees the battle inside your heart. But my child, I see it. I see the burdens you have dragged through many seasons, the fears that have disguised themselves as wisdom, the old wounds trying to convince you that it is better not to hope too much. But I did not raise you up so that you would continue living like someone who had only barely escaped danger. I raised you up so that you would walk as one who has been healed, sent forth, and clothed with new strength from heaven. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. As in Joshua 1:9, that word is not for the person who has never trembled, but for the one who still trembles and yet does not turn back. Remember Philip, my servant, who was led by the Holy Spirit to a place that seemed to hold nothing noteworthy. I did not send him into a crowded square, nor did I set before him a radiant door in the way people usually expect. I told him to go south, to the desert road that leads down to Gaza. To human eyes, that may have seemed like a confusing change of direction, but to me, it was an appointment already prepared. On that road, Philip met an Ethiopian man who was reading the prophet Isaiah but did not yet understand. And from that seemingly small encounter, the light of the gospel touched a soul that was thirsting. Do you see? There are paths I lead you into that at first appear empty, yet in truth they are carrying a mission. There are steps you think are only a departure from what is familiar, but in my eyes, they are the arrangement that allows you to meet the right person, the right opportunity, the right moment in which grace needs to be revealed. Therefore, when I urge you to move forward, do not merely ask whether that path will be comfortable, ask whether I am there. If I am there, even a desolate place becomes holy ground. If I am leading you, even a silent turn can become the beginning of a fruitful season. I am removing from you the invisible chains, doubt, shame, memories of failure, and the fear of being left behind. I do not do this with cold rebuke, but with the love of a father who knows how weary you have become after long stretches of the journey. Let me lift your head again. Let me wash the dust of the road from your soul. Let me place within you a tender courage, not hardened by self-defense, but strengthened by the knowledge that you are loved. Then you will understand that every step of obedience turns your past into a testimony. The places that once frightened you will no longer rule over you. The seasons that once made you think you had been forgotten will become evidence that I was still working silently behind the curtain. You do not need to chase after the light with your exhausted strength. You only need to walk in the light I am giving you. Do not compromise with what darkens your soul simply because it feels easier for a moment. Do not choose the familiar shadow when I have already opened a new dawn before you. I am going before you, standing beside you, and also upholding you from behind. Keep walking, my beloved child, not as one fleeing from darkness, but as one entering the inheritance prepared by my everlasting love. Beloved child, there are doors that do not open because you push them by force, but open when your heart stands in the right place within my light, when you no longer walk with the haste of anxiety, but with the attentiveness of faith. The things that once seemed scattered will begin to find their proper place. A meeting that seems accidental, a reminder that seems small, a delay that seems inconvenient, a closed door that seems to cost you an opportunity. All of these can become pieces of the greater picture in my hand. All things work together for good to those who love God. As in Romans 8:28, that word does not mean that everything that happens will be pleasant, but it means that nothing lies beyond my power to redeem. Therefore, do not rush to a conclusion when you have only seen one part of the picture. Remain in the light, because the light not only helps you see the path ahead, but also helps you recognize what is a signal, what is a trap, what is an invitation from me, and what is merely the noise of the world trying to pull you away from peace. What I want to teach you today does not begin with outward steps, but with the silent room within you. Many times, you think you need another sign, another confirmation, another clear piece of evidence, when in truth, what you need first is a heart quiet enough to hear. When the surface of your soul is still stirred by fear, you may see everything through clouded eyes, but when you allow my presence to calm those hidden waves, you will begin to discern the way forward with a gentle certainty. Be still and know that I am God. As in Psalm 46:10, that stillness is not an empty silence, but the place where my power realigns your breathing, your thoughts, and your desires. There, you are not driven by the voice of haste, nor paralyzed by uncertainty. You simply place your heart before me, so that everything out of alignment with my will may be gently brought back into its proper order. Remember Elijah on Mount Horeb. He had once witnessed fire from heaven, confronted false prophets, and fled in weariness and loneliness. When I passed by, there was a mighty wind tearing through the mountains, an earthquake, and fire. But I did not reveal myself in those violent sounds. And after the fire, there came a gentle whisper, and it was in that stillness that Elijah recognized me. Do you see? Not every divine guidance comes like thunder shaking heaven and earth. Sometimes I come like a thin breeze, touching the deepest place within you, gentle enough not to frighten you, yet real enough that you cannot confuse it with anything else. The louder the world becomes, the more you need to learn how to return to that gentle voice. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. As in John 10:27, what matters is not that every sound around you must fall silent, but that the ear of your heart is trained to recognize the voice of your Father among countless other invitations. From that place of stillness, I will set within you a new compass, not a compass turned by praise, criticism, lack, or the pressure of others, but a compass anchored in my will. You will begin to know that there are things that seem good but are not meant for you. Opportunities that seem delayed but are being held by me for the right season. Invitations that seem attractive but would drain your soul. And small acts that open a great flow of blessing. When you trust me more than your limited understanding, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. As in Proverbs 3:5-6. I am not telling you to throw away wisdom, but I am teaching you to place that wisdom under my light, so that it does not become a throne of control. For when your heart is united with me, your decisions will no longer come from the fear of missing out, but from the peace of knowing you are being led. Then you will see that the restlessness that once troubled you can actually become a gentle alarm. It does not come to condemn you, nor does it come to make your heart heavy, but to remind you that something needs to be brought closer to me. Perhaps it is a habit that needs to be released, a relationship that needs new boundaries, a work that needs to begin, forgiveness that needs to be given, or an old season that needs to be closed in peace. Do not resist that adjustment simply because it touches a place you have grown accustomed to. A loving Father does not correct you in order to shame you. I correct you in order to preserve life within you. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. As in Philippians 4:7, that peace will be like a watchman standing at the gate of your soul, no longer allowing disorderly things to rule freely within you. When peace governs, you will know when to speak, when to be silent, when to move forward, when to wait, and when to leave without looking back in regret. So, my beloved child, let every breath become an act of surrender. As you breathe in, receive the life I give. As you breathe out, release the burdens that no longer belong to you. Walk slowly enough to hear, but not so slowly that you delay obedience. Be soft enough for me to shape you, but do not lose heart before the voices that want to draw you back into the old shadows. The path of light I have set before you is not a distant idea. It begins right in the small choice of today. In the way you keep your heart pure, in the way you respond to guidance, in the way you allow light to overcome confusion. I am reconnecting what once seemed scattered, clarifying the signs that once seemed faint, and turning your simple steps into a meaningful journey. Keep walking with me, for when your heart remains in me, the way will open at the right time. Strength will come in the right season, and the light will be enough for every step you need to take today. Beloved child, I want you to understand that in my kingdom, peace is not a feeling that comes and goes like clouds passing across the sky, but the throne where my will is set as ruler within you. When you allow that peace to govern your heart, decisions are no longer born from fear, hostility, or the pressure to please everyone, but are upheld by a clarity that comes from me. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. As in Colossians 3:15, that word is not only a comfort, but a holy order, where your heart learns to bow before the gentle guidance of heaven. When peace takes the central place, you will see what was once tangled begin to settle. What once distracted you begin to lose its power. And what I truly want you to step into become clearer day by day. I do not need you to grip every detail as though the whole world depends on your control. I invite you into holy partnership, where you do your part by faith, and I do my part through power, timing, and wisdom beyond what your eyes can see. There are mornings when you only need to pause before the new day pulls you away with so many voices. Let your heart open to me through a few peaceful breaths, so that gratitude becomes the first key that opens the door of your soul. A word of scripture sown into your heart at dawn can sustain you throughout the whole day, like a small seed carrying within it an entire harvest. Cause me to hear your loving kindness in the morning, for in you do I trust. Cause me to know the way in which I should walk. As in Psalm 143:8, when you begin the new day by listening in this way, you no longer step out into life as one being swept away, but as one who has received direction from your Father. Do not underestimate small habits done in love. A brief prayer, a moment of silence, a bow of gratitude. One time you choose gentleness instead of tension. All of these are quiet stones I use to repave the road beneath your feet. I do not build maturity within you through heavy demands. I grow you through a rhythm of faithfulness, tenderness, perseverance, and abundant grace. Beloved child, when your heart is brought back into the right rhythm with me, joy will no longer be something fragile, dependent on sunny days or rainy days, on whether others understand you or not, on whether your work goes as smoothly as you hoped. True joy comes from a deeper source, where you know that I am still with you, still keeping you, still quietly arranging every small detail in your journey with a love that never grows weary. The joy of the Lord is your strength. As in Nehemiah 8:10, that joy is not a passing excitement, but a holy vitality that lifts your feet even when you must do the most ordinary things. You can wash dishes in peace, finish a small task with gratitude, send a gentle word to someone with a loving spirit, because when your heart is united with me, nothing is meaningless if it is placed in the light of grace. The goals before you will no longer be mountains weighing heavily upon your shoulders, but meeting places where I encounter you, teach you, lift you up, and show you that every faithful step has value in my eyes. I do not want you to live so hurriedly that you forget the beauty of the road right beneath your feet. There are people who keep looking far toward the horizon, demanding to know everything that will happen, until they lose the blessing of the light I am giving them today. But my child, I often do not give you the entire picture all at once, because I know your trust needs to be nurtured through each step, each day, each small choice. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As in Psalm 119:105, that lamp is not placed in your hand so that you may control the future, but so that you may walk steadily in the present. When you see enough for the next step, take that step. When you understand enough to obey today, obey. Do not despise the light that is just enough, because in my kingdom, just enough is often the way I teach your soul to trust completely. I do not leave you in darkness. I only veil part of what lies ahead so that you may learn to look to the one who is leading you. Instead of looking only at the road, remember Ruth, the woman who once entered a season of loss without knowing how her future would unfold. She did not see in advance that the field of Boaz would become the place where grace would touch her life. She only knew to do what was right before her with a faithful heart. Each day she went to glean, bending down to gather the leftover grain, which seemed like only a small task to survive another day. But in my hand, those small heads of grain did not merely feed her and Naomi. They also led her into a greater story. From being a stranger in a new land, she was placed into the lineage through which the Savior would later come. Do you see? I can hide a great future within very ordinary steps. The steps of a righteous person are ordered by the Lord. As in Psalm 37:23, therefore, when you cannot see the whole picture, remain faithful with today's small portion of grain. I know how to turn humility into an open door, perseverance into blessing, and quiet footsteps into a journey filled with glory. For this reason, do not regard gratitude as merely an ornament of the spiritual life. Gratitude is the doorway that causes your soul to open to the light. When you give thanks for breath, for a new day, for a small opportunity, for a difficult lesson, for a protection you do not yet fully understand, your heart becomes less bitter and more sensitive to my guidance. Give thanks in all circumstances. As in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, this does not mean you must call every pain good, but that you believe I can still sow something good in the very place that once wounded you. Gratitude softens the soil within you, so that the seed of hope can take root. As hope grows, your eyes begin to see the future, not as a frightening land, but as a garden I am preparing bed by bed, season by season, with every rain arriving at the right time. You do not need to drag tomorrow into today through worry. You only need to receive today's grace with an open heart. There will be times when I place you upon a quiet watchtower of the soul, not so that you may strain your eyes in confusion, but so that you may learn to wait with spiritual alertness. The one who waits in me is not someone standing motionless, but someone being refined within. Habakkuk stood at the watchpost to listen for what I would speak, and he learned that the righteous shall live by faith. Us in Habakkuk 2:3. That faith does not hurry, demanding that dawn arrive before its appointed hour, nor does it despair simply because the night is still long. It stands there with gentle eyes, with a warm heart, with a soul anchored in the promise. You, too, must hold your place in peace. There are answers that will not come while you are restless, but will appear when your heart is quiet enough to recognize them. There are signs that do not need to be grand, only timely. There are lamps that do not all shine at once, but are lit one by one as you draw nearer. And each lamp will tell you, I am still here. I still know the way. I am still leading you home. So, my beloved child, walk with gentle joy, not the loud joy that tries to hide fear, but the pure joy of one who knows they are not alone. Live more slowly so you can hear more deeply. Live more watchfully so you can choose more rightly. Live more gently so you can endure more faithfully. Do not let pressure turn your goals into chains. Let love turn your goals into an invitation to grow. I am drawing your journey with light, layer by layer. Like morning, slowly lifting the mist so that the landscape appears in a tender order. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. As in Lamentation, true, 22 avant true. Each morning is a new page. And you do not need to write the whole book in one day. Simply write today's line with faith. Place today's step in the light, and keep today's heart in peace. I walk with you, and wherever I am present, there is enough light for you to keep going. Beloved child, I want you to learn to walk with the portion of light being given today. Because in my kingdom, guidance often does not come like a curtain being fully lifted all at once, but like dawn opening in thin layers across the earth. When you are willing to place your foot into the small circle of light before you, the next circle of light will open at the right time. If you remain standing still, waiting to see every turn, your heart may easily grow cold in delay, and your faith may become bound by the need to control. But when you say yes to what I have revealed in this moment, even if it is only as small as an apology, an upright decision, a quiet step of preparation, or a letting go that no one sees, that very obedience becomes the key that opens more of the road ahead. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, shining brighter and brighter until the full day. As in Proverbs 4:18, that light does not remain still. It grows with the footsteps of the one who trusts. Therefore, Do not despise the small rays of light, because I often hide an entire new season within one very quiet act of faithfulness. I know there are times when you want many assurances before you move forward. You want to see the outcome, understand the timing, know who will walk with you, and be certain that you will not be hurt again. But my child, if everything were already held neatly in your own hands, faith would no longer be faith. It would only be the calculation of the mind. We walk by faith, not by sight. As in 2 Corinthians 5:7, this does not mean you must be blind, but that you place your trust in the one who sees farther than you, loves you more deeply than you understand, and knows exactly which road will cause your soul to mature. I do not veil the future in order to frighten you, but in order to keep you close to me. For when you receive only enough light for today, you will learn to return to me each morning. Seek my will each day, and live in fresh communion instead of relying only on the old things that were once given. Remember Abraham. When I called him to leave his homeland and go to the place I would show him, he was not given a detailed map. He was not told the entire terrain in advance, and he did not immediately see every promise take shape. But he walked, and each step of obedience turned an ordinary man into the father of many nations. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place he would receive as an inheritance, not knowing where he was going. As in Hebrews 11:8, do you see? The nobility of the journey was not found in the fact that he knew everything, but in the fact that he trusted the one who was calling him. You also have things I am inviting you to leave behind, a place of safety that has become too narrow, a habit that causes your soul to grow dim, a way of thinking that always demands certainty before daring to love, daring to act, daring to live. Do not be afraid when I show you only the first step. That first step is not small in my eyes, because it carries within it the seed of an entire promise. There is a gentle grace in not seeing too far ahead. If you could see all the trials of the years to come, your heart might become heavy before that season even arrived. If you could see all the blessings, you might forget the humility you need to keep today. Therefore, I lead you stage by stage, like a father holding his child's hand along a morning road still covered in mist. I do not let you carry tomorrow with today's strength. My son himself said, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. As in Matthew 6:34, that word does not teach you to be indifferent, but to live in the proper rhythm of grace. Do today's work with today's faithfulness. Love the person standing before you today with today's love. Enter the opportunity that opens today with today's courage. When you live this way, your soul is not torn apart by things that have not yet come, but gathered together in my presence, where every breath becomes lighter. I also want you to remember the widow of Zarephath in the days of the prophet Elijah. She had only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug, seemingly enough for one last meal before waiting to die. But when my word came through Elijah, she used that little portion in obedience, and what seemed about to run out was sustained by me day after day. The jar of flour was not used up, and the jug of oil did not run dry. As in 1 Kings 17:16, that is the mark of provision that comes from me, not loud but enduring, not excessive in a way that feeds pride, but sufficient in a way that nourishes faith. Beloved child, sometimes the light I give is like that handful of flour and little oil. At first glance, it seems small, but when used in trust, it becomes an extended miracle. Do not hold back today's light out of fear that tomorrow will lack. Walk in what you already know is right, and you will see that my supply does not run dry. When you know that you only need to live fully in this day, your heart will become softer. You will not waste words in hasty judgment. You will not let anxiety steal your gentleness. and you will not let things that have not yet happened dry up the love meant for the person beside you. The light that is just enough teaches you to treasure every encounter, every word, every small thing done in secret. It teaches you to slow down enough to look at someone with mercy, to listen to a story you might once have ignored, to choose a gracious word instead of a sharp reaction. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. As in Lamentations 3:22-23, if my mercies are new every morning, then you too can begin again every morning. Not with shame, but with hope. So, my beloved child, keep walking in the light that is before your feet. Do not force today to reveal all the secrets of tomorrow. Do not turn preparation into tension. And do not turn caution into an excuse for burying obedience. I am teaching you a holier rhythm of life. Receive, walk, give thanks, and receive again. Every step you place down in trust will make the ground beneath you steadier. Every yes you offer will cause the ear of your heart to hear more clearly. Every day you live in the light that is just enough will become part of the larger picture I have drawn with everlasting love. You are not walking alone. I am in the light ahead, in the peace within, and in the strength supporting you from behind. Keep going, my child, because the next portion of the road will shine when your foot touches it by faith. Beloved child, I want you to understand that the light I place before your feet is not only so that you may know where to go, but also so that you may be kept from the turns that appear beautiful, yet quietly drain the soul. Not every shining door is a door I have opened. Not every pleasant invitation carries the breath of heaven. And not everything that excites you for a moment will lead you into lasting life. Therefore, after learning to walk in the light that is just enough, you must learn to guard a deeper place, your mind, for your feet may be standing on the path I have given. But if your thoughts are being pulled toward other noises, your heart will soon become weary, and your direction will grow unclear. Guard your heart above all else, for out of it flow the springs of life. As in Proverbs 4:23, your heart and mind are not places where you should allow every thought to come and go carelessly, but a sacred garden that must be tended with watchfulness, promise, and peace. I do not want you to fear your own thoughts. I want you to learn to recognize them in the light, so that whatever comes from truth may be kept, and whatever comes from fear may be handed back to me. There are thoughts that wear the clothing of caution, but inside they are doubt. There are arguments that sound like wisdom, but in truth, they are only building fences around the fear of being wounded. You need to discern this through my presence, because I do not lead you with suffocating pressure, nor do I urge you forward with the shouting voice of anxiety. When I speak, my word may be very firm, but it always carries purity, kindness, and a deep peace within it. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. As in John 10:27, my voice does not throw your soul into confusion so that you must run in panic, but calls you back to a clear direction, where what is good is lifted up and what is dark gradually loses its power. Therefore, when a thought enters, ask whether it is drawing you closer to me or farther from me, whether it is making you more loving or more closed off, whether it is making you more courageous or causing you to delay under the disguise of careful consideration. When you examine all things under that light, your mind will gradually become like a lamp sheltered from the wind, no longer flickering before every comment, every bad report, every old memory, or every imagined thing that has not yet happened. I want you to remember Nehemiah, the one in whose heart I placed the desire to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. When the work was progressing, the opponents did not only use outward force, but also distraction to pull him away from his position. They invited him down to the plane of Ono, using words that pretended to be negotiation, but in truth they wanted to harm him and stop the work. Nehemiah answered with a very clear word, "I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down." As in Nehemiah 9:3. Do you see? Sometimes victory is not found in arguing with every voice that calls you, but in recognizing that what I have entrusted to you is too precious to leave behind just because of a beautifully decorated distraction. Your mind also has planes of Ono like that, useless comparisons, assumptions that wound you, loops of anxiety, and dark scenarios that I have never spoken. Learn to speak to them with gentleness yet firmness. I am walking on the path my Father has given me. I will not come down from this light. To keep the light within your heart, nourish your mind with the things that belong to life. I have not left you without guidance. My word has set before you a pure compass. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report. Think on these things. As in Philippians 4:8. This is not an invitation for you to deny reality, but a teaching that helps you choose the source that feeds your soul. You can still look difficulty straight in the face, but you do not need to let difficulty become the throne in your mind. You can still make plans, but you do not need to let planning turn into rigid control. You can still recognize risk, but you do not need to let risk steal your hope. When you set your mind on what is true, you are no longer led by the exaggerated shadows of fear. When you think on what is lovely and pure, the atmosphere within you begins to change. Your words become softer, your eyes become brighter, and your decisions become less disturbed by lesser things. And if there is a day when your mind is filled with noise, do not be ashamed and hide from me. Come closer. Name each thing that is weighing on your heart. Then place it into my hands, like someone laying dry leaves upon a quiet stream. You can speak to me very simply. Father, this thought makes me afraid. I give it back to you. Father, this memory hurts me. Please, place your light within it. Father, I am being pulled toward what is not helpful. Please, bring my heart back to peace. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. As in 1 Peter 5:7, I do not consider your concerns small, because anything that weighs upon your heart is something I desire to touch with love. Each time you surrender a thought, you do not lose authority over your life. On the contrary, you regain freedom from invisible chains. Breathe in and receive the promise. Breathe out and release what is not yours to carry. Breathe in and remember that I am near. Breathe out and let fear leave the throne. Then you will see that renewal does not happen like a thunderclap, but like light slowly seeping into a room that has long been closed. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. As in Romans 12:2, when the mind is renewed, you do not only think differently, but also walk differently, speak differently, wait differently, and love differently. The path before you will still have stretches that require courage, but you will no longer walk with a mind torn into fragments. You will know how to keep what I have spoken, release what I have not entrusted to you, refuse what darkens your soul, and receive what causes life within you to grow. I am teaching you to win from within before the victory appears outwardly. Let your mind become a place where light dwells, where peace guards the door, where the promise is preserved like a holy flame. When the inside of you is bright, your steps will be steady. When your thoughts are anchored in me, the road you walk will not be easily led astray. Keep walking, my beloved child, for I am with you in every thought that is healed. every choice that is purified, and every footstep guided by my light. Beloved child, when your mind is restored to my stillness, you will no longer walk like someone who must drag yourself through each day with depleted strength. A stream of divine assistance begins to lift you from within, not loudly, not for display, but steadily, like the breath of heaven touching the sail of your life. I do not give peace merely so you can sit still and endure. I give peace so you can rise in the right way, walk in the right rhythm, and go far without losing the clarity of your soul. The Lord Himself will go before you. He will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. As in Deuteronomy 31:8, therefore, what lifts you is not strained effort, but my presence going ahead of you, opening the way, keeping the rhythm, and quietly preparing things you have not yet had time to see. When the inside of you is no longer bent by the winds of anxiety, my grace will blow into your life in a good direction, causing steps that seem small to lead you into places I prepared long ago. There will be days when you are surprised because the right words come to you at the right time. Ideas become clear. Strength returns in a task that once seemed exhausting, and a meeting that appears ordinary carries within it the sign of divine arrangement. This is not floating coincidence. It is my favor operating upon a heart that has chosen to become still. When your mind is bright, you will not miss my subtle movements. When your heart is quiet, you will be able to discern which door must be knocked on, which turn must be avoided, which word must be spoken, and which silence must be kept as a holy offering. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. As in Psalm 32:8, that word is not a distant promise, but care that is present in the smallest decisions of your life. I do not want you to walk in the heaviness of someone who is always afraid of making a mistake, but in the humility of one who knows they are being guided. Remember Zerubbabel, the one entrusted with rebuilding the temple amid obstacles that could easily discourage the human heart. Before him were ruins, opposition, lack, and a task greater than natural human strength. But I spoke through Zechariah, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, as in Zechariah 4:9. Then I also spoke to the great mountain before him, declaring that it would become a plain. Do you see? What I entrust to you does not necessarily have to be completed through the noise of human strength. Many times, it is built through quiet faithfulness, through a mind kept in the promise, through each stone being laid under the help of the Holy Spirit. When my grace is upon you, the mountain is no longer proof that you must give up, but becomes the place where my power is revealed. You do not need to break the mountain with your bare hands. You need to stand in the right position. Keep your heart pure, and let my Spirit do what is beyond your strength. Therefore, do not understand stillness as slowness or weakness. Stillness in me is strength that has been refined from haste. It helps you avoid spending energy on battles that were never assigned to you, answering every voice simply because it is loud, or chasing every idea that flashes for a moment and then fades away. A person whose mind is guarded will take fewer unnecessary detours, speak fewer needless words, and place their strength where grace is truly flowing. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. As in Isaiah 40:31, the eagle does not flap its wings in panic to overcome the wind, but knows how to rise upon the current that lifts it. You are the same when you wait for me in peace. You are not being held back. You are being lifted in a deeper, stronger, and truer way. There are kinds of progress I give that do not look like a hurried sprint, but like an underground stream quietly bringing an entire land back to life. I know there were times when you thought that in order to go far, You had to strain harder, endure more, and force yourself even further. But I did not call you into a journey of grace only to leave you exhausted along the way. I have said, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. As in 2 Corinthians 12:9, therefore, the place where you see that you are not enough is the very place where you can experience that I am enough. When you stop seeing weariness as failure and begin bringing it to me like an empty vessel, I will pour new life into it. My power does not make you harsh, but enables you to be gentle without breaking, steadfast without becoming bitter, and able to move forward without losing your joy. I am not merely telling you to try harder, I am breathing new life into you, so that what you do no longer comes from the fear of falling behind, but from the trust that I am working together with you from within. From here, guard the space within you like a harbor at daybreak, where the sails are open toward the good wind of my spirit. Do not let wandering thoughts turn your boat back toward old waters. Do not let anxiety become the commander. And do not let passing emotions decide the direction of a life that has been loved and called by me. It is God who works in you both to will and to do according to his good pleasure. As in Philippians 2:13, this means I am not standing outside merely watching you walk, but I am working within you, realigning your desires, strengthening your will, and placing within you the power to complete what pleases me. Keep going with the steady rhythm of peace. Let my favor be the wind behind you, clarity, the direction of your sail, faith, the rudder, and my love, the sea that carries you. You will not only understand the path, you will live in it, walk upon it, and experience that wherever I lead, there is always enough strength, enough light, enough grace, and enough joy for you to keep moving forward. Beloved child, there are seasons when I do not urge you to run faster, but invite you to stop in the right way so you may recognize that true strength does not come from straining yourself. You often think limits are a sign that you have become weak, slow, or no longer worthy enough to continue. But in my eyes, limits can become a holy place, where you cease relying on your small portion of strength and begin receiving what I have prepared in my kindness. When you feel your feet heavy, your heart weary, your mind tangled, and the road ahead seeming like a long stretch with no support in sight, I do not stand far away and coldly tell you to try harder. I draw near like a father placing his hand behind your back, not pushing you forward until you fall, but gently lifting you to stand upright again. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. As in 2 Corinthians 12:9, that word does not diminish your weariness, but enlarges your faith that where you thought you were empty, I am still full. Therefore, do not call your weakness an ending too quickly. Call it the place where I can enter, strengthen, heal, and turn fragility into a doorway for power. I want you to learn the rhythm of grace. Rest in me. Open your heart to receive. Then take one small step in the light. Rest is not giving up, but placing the burden in the right place. Receiving is not passivity, but allowing my promise to soak into your mind like rain soaking into dry ground. A small step is not insignificant, but the way faith takes form upon the earth. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. As in Matthew 11:28, do you see? I do not invite you to come, so I may hand you another list of demands, but so your soul may breathe again in love. Some days, that small step is simply praying honestly, instead of remaining silent in anxiety. Some days, it is finishing something you have delayed. Some days, it is apologizing, forgiving, rearranging one corner of your life, or simply sleeping in peace without condemning yourself. Those steps, when placed in my hands, will become a gentle river carrying you farther than haste ever promised. Remember Elijah when he was exhausted under the broom tree. After great victories, even my servant could fall into weariness, fear, and loneliness. Elijah once asked to die, as though his journey had reached a place he could no longer endure. But I did not force him to stand up immediately in order to prove his strength. I sent an angel to touch him, to bring bread and water, so he could eat, sleep, and then eat again, because the journey is too much for you. As in 1 Kings 19:7, beloved child, look at the way I care for those I love before giving new direction. I restore the body, soothe the soul, and lead the person out of the exhaustion that once blurred their vision. Sometimes what you need most is not a complicated answer, but to let me renew your strength through simple graces, a quiet space, a promise, a season of rest, someone who supports you, a morning that allows you to begin again. I am not ashamed of your weariness. I simply do not want you to take that weariness as your identity. My favor does not only lift you through one difficult moment while leaving the knots behind untouched. I am the one who restores. And restoration is not merely bringing you back to where you were before, but renewing the way you live, the way you remember, the way you love, and the way you look toward the future. The things that were once broken off within you, I can join together again through the order of love. The years you thought were wasted, I can redeem through a season of fruitfulness you have never imagined. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. As in Joel 2:25, that word does not mean the past never hurt, but it means pain does not have the right to write the final chapter of your life. I can make memories less sharp, cause lessons to stop becoming burdens, turn delay into depth, and make what you once saw as failure become good soil where mercy can grow. Let me gently untie each knot. Do not yank at them with impatience. There are things I heal so softly, yet so deeply, that one day you will look back and realize you no longer respond like the person you used to be. Therefore, as you continue walking, do not walk with bitter striving, but with the pure strength of one who knows they are being upheld. My power does not make you louder in order to hide weakness, but makes you steadier in humility. It does not burn you with pressure, but warms you with enduring courage. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. As in Isaiah 40:31, the eagle does not conquer the sky through panic, but knows how to rise upon the current that lifts it. You are the same. Keep your heart open toward me, so that grace becomes the wind behind you, and peace becomes the rhythm of your feet. When you stop wasting strength on what I have not assigned to you, you will have energy for what I have truly placed in your hands. When you stop blaming yourself for not being able to do everything, you will know how to do your part with clarity, joy, and faithfulness. Then each of your days will gradually take on a holy rhythm. Pause to breathe in me. Receive what I speak, and do the small thing that has been illuminated. Do not despise that rhythm, because even great rivers are fed by quiet springs. When a day comes to an end, you do not need to measure your worth by how many tasks were completed under pressure, but by how deeply you remained in love, responded to the light, kept your heart tender, and allowed me to lead you through ordinary things with an extraordinary spirit. It is God who works in you both to will and to do according to his good pleasure. As in Philippians 2:13, I am not only standing before you to call you, but also working within you to give you desire, strength, and perseverance. Keep resting in me, receiving from me, and walking with me. You will find yourself going far without losing peace, becoming stronger without losing gentleness, and being restored without needing to deny the past. I am here, my beloved child, and wherever my grace touches, limitation is no longer a wall, but a threshold opening into a season of renewed strength. Beloved child, there are things I do that do not begin with a loud sound, but with quiet arrangements around your life. When the inside of you is renewed, I will also gently adjust the environment around you so it aligns with that new season. There are doors that were once closed, not because I rejected you, but because the time had not yet matured. There are people who walked away not because you were forgotten, but because they could not go with you into the road I am opening. There are opportunities that suddenly appear at just the right time, not because of luck, but because my hand had been preparing them in the hidden place. I will go before you and level the uneven places. As in Isaiah 45:2, that word does not only speak of outward roads, but also of the entanglements in your circumstances, the turns in your relationships, and the things that seem disorderly yet are being set back into order by me. Therefore, when you see things gradually fitting together with gentle precision, do not hastily call it coincidence. Recognize the breath of favor moving through your life, supporting what I have planted in your heart so that it may have soil, sunlight, rain, and a season of blooming. I do not want you to think that good results only come when you are exhausted from effort. In my rhythm, faithfulness is not a race into depletion, but steady steps saturated with love. You work today with integrity. Speak the words that need to be spoken with tenderness. Meet the people you need to meet with respect, and complete the portion entrusted to you as an offering lifted up to me. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord. As in Colossians 3:23, when you live this way, everyday tasks are no longer small, because they are connected to a purpose greater than what your eyes can see. I can use a brief conversation to open healing, a quiet task to build the foundation for the future, and a simple idea to lead you to a new door. When my grace is at work, what you do does not necessarily become louder, but it becomes richer in quality, deeper, brighter, purer, and carrying the fragrance of my presence. Imagine your life as a boat moving across wide waters. If the sail is pulled off course by anxiety, the boat will sway even when a favorable wind is blowing. But when your mind is still, your heart is upright, and your will is turned toward me, that sail will naturally catch the wind of favor. You do not need to swing the oars in desperation, as though every promise would disappear if you stopped for a single moment. Your part is to keep the direction, keep your heart, and keep your obedience. The wind belongs to me, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. As in Zechariah 4:6, my power does not always come like a storm that shakes everything, but many times like a warm wind steadily blowing from behind, carrying you farther while still preserving your peace. Some days the wind is strong, and you move quickly. Some days the wind is gentle, yet you are still not left behind, because the waters beneath you are also in my hand. The destination is grace, but the journey itself, upheld by me across every passage, is already grace as well. Remember Paul on the ship bound for Rome. There was a time when the sea was raging with a violent storm, and for many days neither sun nor stars appeared, until all hope of being saved seemed to fade away. People saw a ship about to break apart, but I saw a promise still intact. In the middle of that dark night, my angel stood beside Paul and told him not to be afraid, because he still had to stand before Caesar. Then Paul said to those on the ship, "Take heart, For I believe God that it will be just as he has told me. As in Acts 27:25. Do you see? There are storms that seem as though they will destroy the journey. Yet they cannot destroy the purpose I have placed upon your life. The ship may break, but the promise does not break. The plan you once depended on may change, but my hand does not withdraw. And even if you must swim to shore on the broken pieces that remain, I can still bring you to the place you need to reach. Then turn the very place that seemed like an accident into a stage for healing, service, and testimony. Therefore, when you look back at the places that once made you afraid, look with eyes that have been healed. There were traps that seemed as though they would swallow you, yet in the end, they revealed my protection. There were delays that seemed to make you miss out, yet in truth, they kept you from a path that was not yours. There were cuts in your memory that once felt rough and painful, but under my hand, they can be polished into beautiful grain lines within a greater work. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. As in Genesis 50:20, that word does not make evil right, but it reveals that evil does not have the final authority over a life kept by me. I can redeem what seemed lost, reconnect what seemed separated, and turn the pages once soaked with tears into a testimony that helps others find hope. When the results begin to appear, do not let your heart swell with pride, and do not forget the spring that has sustained you. A flower that blooms in its proper season does not boast that it created the sun by itself. It simply releases its fragrance quietly because it has received enough light, good soil, and timely rain. You are the same when your words become clearer, when your work opens more smoothly, when your encounters bring more support. Let gratitude keep you in purity. Every good and perfect gift is from above. As in James 1:17, the good things in your life are signs of my kindness, not a throne for your ego to sit upon. The grateful person will not lose blessing through pride. The grateful person will have greater capacity to receive what is new, because their heart remains soft, open, and mindful that they were loved before they ever succeeded. Then there will come a time when you tell your story no longer with the trembling voice of a victim, but with the calmness of one who has been preserved. You will speak of the days that seemed completely blocked, yet I opened a way, of the dangers that seemed to close every door, yet I had already hidden a way out, of the things that once made you shrink back, yet now become evidence that my favor is stronger than your fear. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. As in Psalm 126:3, that joy is not the forgetting of the darkness that has passed, but the recognition that my light faithfully walked with you, even within that darkness. Keep walking, my beloved child. The path does not only lead you forward, but also shines upon the footprints behind you, so that your entire journey becomes a gentle song of providence, restoration, and my love that has never let go. Beloved child, I want you to look back on the roads you have traveled with different eyes, not the eyes of someone who has merely escaped disaster, but the eyes of someone who has been kept by my hand for a purpose not yet completed. There are places you thought you passed through only by luck, but in my light, you will understand that your life was not preserved by accident. I protected you because there are still words for you to speak, work for you to do, people for you to touch, and a portion of light for you to kindle in this world. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. As in Jeremiah 29:11, that word is not a cloth thrown over the past, so you may forget every pain, but a light shining into the past, so you may recognize that I was quietly walking with you, even when you could not understand. What once made you tremble is no longer allowed to define you, because you are not a child of accident, not the product of failure, and not the echo of a wounded season. You are one who has been called by name, upheld, redeemed, and preserved within the story I am writing with love. As the testimony begins to take shape within your heart, your identity is also rebuilt upon a firmer rock. In the past, perhaps you wondered why you had to pass through such confusing turns, why some doors closed with such pain, why certain traps seemed to be set precisely when you were at your weakest. But then time passed. My grace touched your memories, and you began to see a sacred thread connecting the scattered pieces into a meaningful tapestry. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. As in Philippians 1:6, therefore, you do not need to place your confidence in your own strength, in perfection, or in a life without challenges. The confidence I give you is the gentle steadiness of one who knows that the one who began the work does not leave it unfinished. The one who called also equips, and the one who saved also continues to lead. When you understand this, the future is no longer a dark land that makes you hesitant, but the next part of a journey held securely in my hands. Remember Esther and Mordecai on the day my people were threatened by Haman's plot. A gallows had been built with the intention of destroying the righteous. A decree seemed impossible to reverse, and darkness covered the whole nation as though every way of escape had been closed. But I was not asleep upon my throne. It was in the very night when the king could not sleep that the book of records was opened. The forgotten service of Mordecai was brought back to remembrance, and the trap the enemy had prepared became the place where righteousness was revealed. Esther stepped into her appointed moment not with pride, but with courage kindled by the reminder that perhaps she had come to the royal position for such a time as this. As in Esther 4:14, do you see? There are moments when I preserve you not only so that you may be safe, but so that you may stand in the right place at a moment that needs the light from your life. The trap does not have the final word. The dark decree is not stronger than my providence, and what the enemy intended to use to bring you shame, I can turn into evidence of deliverance. Therefore, do not be ashamed of the marks that remain after the journey. I do not always erase every crack in a way that makes it seem as though it never existed. Many times, I mend those cracks with light, so that the place once broken becomes the very place that reflects my mercy more clearly. The potter does not throw away a vessel simply because it was once cracked in skillful hands. That vessel can carry a deeper beauty, a beauty that does not come from outward flawlessness, but from a story that has been restored. We have this treasure in jars of clay, to show that this surpassing power is from God and not from us. As in 2 Corinthians 4:7, you are a jar of clay cherished in my hands, and the golden lines of grace do not make you less valuable. They say that you have been touched, repaired, preserved, and given greater depth so that you may love with a softer heart. When you tell your story, tell it with humility, not to display it, nor to present yourself as stronger than others, but so that those who listen may see me. A true testimony does not place you at the center. It simply uses your life as a lamp pointing to the one who lit the flame. There are people who are walking through places you once walked through, fearing what you once feared, thinking they will not survive what you once thought you could never overcome. When they see that you are still standing, still loving, still believing, still able to smile without denying the tears that have fallen, hope will be awakened within them. Comfort others with the comfort you yourselves have received from God. As in 2 Corinthians 1:4, what I have done in you is not only for you to keep as a private memory, but to become a stream of cool water for souls that are dry and weary. Then you will understand that your testimony is not only the story of what you have escaped, but a declaration of who you are becoming. You were not preserved merely to live in old fear. You were preserved to step into new clarity. You were not drawn out of darkness so that you would continue bowing before darkness. You were brought out so that you may carry the light of peace, gratitude, and courage into the places where I will lead you. I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. As in Psalm 118:17, let that word become the heartbeat within you. You are still alive to declare my faithfulness. You are still standing to testify that grace can be stronger than the deepest trap. You are still walking so that others may see that a life once trembling can become steady when placed in my hands. So, my beloved child, look upon the golden marks of restoration in your life with gratitude. They are not signs that you once failed, but signs that I did not let you go. They are not a reason for you to withdraw, but evidence that my love has passed through every crack and caused it to shine. As you enter the new chapter, do not carry the identity of one who merely survived. Carry the identity of one who has been sent after being preserved. I have kept you because I still desire to love through you, speak through you, comfort through you, and kindle hope through the story you once thought was only full of wounds. Stand upright in that light. Your future is not built upon what tried to destroy you, but upon the one who delivered you, and I, your loving Father. I am still writing the next lines of your life with grace, deeper, more beautiful, and more full of hope than anything you once thought could happen. Beloved child, as I strengthen your identity through the testimony written through your very life, I am not only making you stand more firmly today, but also placing beneath your feet a path that can support many who come after you. A life that knows it has been called will no longer walk as one who is lost. It becomes a landmark, a lamp, a quiet reminder that darkness is not the only inheritance that can be passed down. There are chains of fear that have moved through many homes, habits of silence that have caused many hearts to be afraid to speak the truth, and pains handed down from generation to generation like a debt no one knows how to end. But I say to you, when just one person is willing to stand up in the light, the old current can begin to change direction. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. As in John 8:32, that truth does not only set you free personally, but also opens a new sky for those who are watching you, learning from you, and even for those who will come after you, whom you cannot yet see today. Do not think that your small steps of obedience are too quiet to have value. In my eyes, no act of faithfulness is forgotten. One word you choose to speak in love instead of bitterness. One time, you choose forgiveness instead of nursing resentment. One day you continue to pray, even though your heart has not yet seen the result. One decision, to live uprightly when no one is watching. All of these are stones I use to pave a new road. You do not need to create a loud victory before a crowd for blessing to begin spreading. Many spiritual legacies are born in a small room, around a family meal, in the way a father or a mother learns to speak more gently, in the way a child chooses not to repeat the wounds they once received. Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. As in Luke 16:10, therefore, cherish every choice you make today, because what seems small in your hands may be a great seed in my plan. I want you to remember Rahab, the woman who lived in the city of Jericho, where the walls were high and the hearts of the people were filled with fear. She did not have a past painted with honor in the eyes of the world, but when the light of faith touched her heart, she chose to stand with what I was doing. She protected the spies of Israel, hung the scarlet cord in her window, and through one courageous act of obedience, not only was she saved, but her whole household was also brought out of destruction. By faith, Rahab was not destroyed with those who were disobedient. As in Hebrews 11:31, do you see? One right decision in a decisive moment can become a door of salvation for an entire family. But the story did not stop there. From someone who had been looked down upon, Rahab was brought into the lineage through which Christ would later come. I did not only save her from a collapsing city, I placed her into a current of redemption greater than anything she had ever imagined. You are the same. When you choose the light, you are not only escaping a dark place, you are stepping into a flow of blessing that can touch many generations. Therefore, do not despise the footprints you place down today. Perhaps you only see yourself trying to live more kindly, more clearly, more patiently, more purely, but in the unseen realm, those things are breaking old patterns. When you do not respond to hurt with more hurt, a cycle begins to be interrupted. When you do not allow fear to decide your future, a new door is opened. When you do not continue passing bitterness on to others, but instead give the peace you have received from me, you are becoming one who prepares the way. Prepare the way for the people. Build up the highway, remove the stones from the road. As in Isaiah 62:10, that word can also become an image for your life. I am teaching you to remove the stones of shame, anger, confusion, and doubt, not only so that you may walk more lightly, but so that those who follow after you will not stumble in the very place where you once hurt. There are people who will be healed simply because they see that you did not give up. There are people who will dare to pray again because they hear you tell how I kept you through days that seemed to have no way out. There are people who will find the courage to live truthfully because you have stopped hiding the light beneath shame. There are people in your family who will realize that history does not have to repeat itself, that the atmosphere of a home can change, that words can be washed clean from bitterness, and that love can be learned again from the beginning. The righteous walk in integrity. Blessed are their children after them. As in Proverbs 20:7, that blessing is not only wealth or outward advantage, but a holy atmosphere sown into a way of life, peace passed on through the way you respond, and faith kindled through your perseverance. Beloved child, I do not require you to be perfect before you can become a testimony. If legacy were only for those who had never stumbled, then no one would be able to sow anything good for the generations to come. What I seek in you is a heart willing to return, willing to learn again, willing to let me shape it, willing to say yes one more time. I can use even a healed scar to teach others that they too can be healed. I can use even the seasons when you were delayed to teach others patience. I can use even the tears that fell in secret to water the ground of compassion. We are comforted so that we may comfort those who are in any trouble. As in 2 Corinthians 1:4, therefore, what I do in you never stops with you alone. Grace, when it is truly received, will always find a way to flow outward, like a stream that does not keep its water for itself. Then one day, you will look back and see that the path you once thought was only your own journey of survival has become a bright way for many people. The places that were once traps will become milestones. The stretches that once frightened you will become lessons. The places that once made you bow your head will become places where you raise thanksgiving. I will make your story not only a memory, but a witness, not only a past, but a seed, not only a deliverance, but an invitation for others to step into hope. You are the light of the world. As in Matthew 5:14, that light does not need to shout in order to be noticed. It only needs to keep burning faithfully where I have placed you. And those who are walking in darkness will recognize that there is a way out. Keep walking, my child, with humility but not timidity, with courage but not hardness. Every day you live in truth, love, and obedience is a day you are laying a foundation for something better. Your family can be touched. Your community can be lifted up. Even people who have not yet met you may receive blessing from the road I have used your life to open. I am writing through you an intergenerational testimony. wider than old pain, deeper than the doubts that once shook your heart, and brighter than every darkness that once tried to hold you back. Keep walking in the light. Because I go before you, keep your heart faithful. Because I will cause the seed to bear fruit in its proper season. Keep living as one who has been called. Because truly, you have been called to become a footprint of blessing for many who come after you. Beloved child, I want you to understand that every choice you place in the light today does not end within the limits of a single day, a single circumstance, or a passing emotion. In my hand, one sincere yes can become a seed for many seasons your eyes have not yet seen. There are things you do in silence that open the way for others to walk more lightly. There are times when you choose forgiveness while your heart is still hurting. And that very choice breaks an old cycle that once caused many to live in bitterness. There are times when you choose to speak the truth in love, refusing to let fear control your words. And from there, trust begins to be sown again into relationships that seem dry and barren. Do not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. As in Galatians 6:9, that word reminds you that there are seasons of sowing that are not loud. But no seed placed in faith is ever forgotten by me. You may not yet see the tree growing, but the soil has received the seed. You may not yet hear the generations after you giving thanks, but the road has already begun to open. Therefore, do not underestimate your today. One day lived in faithfulness can become the first stone of a bridge that someone else will cross in the future. When you refuse to pass on anger, you are teaching those who come after you that the past is not a prison. When you choose to build instead of tear down, you are sowing a new culture within your family and community. When you allow your heart to become tender under my hand, you are not only being healed for yourself, but also becoming a safe atmosphere where others dare to be healed. The righteous walk in integrity. Blessed are their children after them. As in Proverbs 20:7, that blessing is not only something visible outwardly, but also a legacy of peace, integrity, kindness, and gentle courage. There are children who learn how to love because they have seen you love. There are young people who dare to live truthfully because they have seen you stop hiding the light. There are souls who once thought they could never change, but when they look at your life, they realize that I can still rewrite a story they thought had already closed. I want to tell you about Timothy, a young man I used in his generation. Yet the faith within him did not appear like a ray of light falling from nowhere. Paul spoke of the sincere faith that first lived in his grandmother Lois and his mother Eunice, and then also lived in Timothy. As in 2 Timothy 1:5. Do you see? There are prayers from a grandmother, tears from a mother, small teachings beside the family hearth, and persistent moments of living in godliness amid ordinary life. All of these become a quiet stream flowing into a young person whom I would later use to strengthen the church. Lois and Eunice may not have stood before crowds like the apostles, but their faithfulness was not small. They sowed in the hidden place, and the harvest appeared in another life. You are the same. Do not measure your influence by the applause before your eyes. Some of the greatest legacies are formed through very quiet choices. The way you pray, the way you keep your word, the way you face sorrow without losing faith, the way you allow my love to correct your words and your reactions. The impact of obedience often spreads like an underground stream. It does not always shake the ground immediately, but quietly softens the soil, nourishes the roots, and prepares the season of blooming. A word of encouragement you speak today may walk with someone for many years without you ever knowing it. A decision not to compromise with darkness may become a sacred memory in the heart of someone who is watching. An act of kindness that seems small may teach an entire household that grace can still be present in the way people treat one another. Let your light shine before others. that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. As in Matthew 5:16, that light is not so that you may be exalted, but so that others may look through your life and recognize me. When you live in the light, you do not need to know exactly how far that light will reach. The light that belongs to me always knows its way. It can shine into one room, then, through a glance, a story, a choice, and touch places where your feet have never walked. There will be times when you think, does what I am doing today really matter? I say to you that it does. Faithfulness does not lose its value just because it is small. A mustard seed is very tiny, but when it is planted in the right soil, it grows into a tree with shade. A cup of cold water given in, my name will not lose its reward. One I'm sorry can reopen a door that years of pride had locked shut. One decision to forgive can soften the atmosphere of an entire family. One time you choose to pray instead of responding with bitterness can put an end to a pattern of hurt that has lasted far too long. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will bring it to pass. As in Psalm 37:5, your part is to place your steps in righteousness, and my part is to make those steps bear fruit beyond your reach. You do not need to see every result before believing that goodness is being sown. The one who sows in faith does not dig up the soil every day to check the seed. They water it with trust, wait with peace, and continue sowing with perseverance. Then there will come a day, whether near or very far, when you will hear someone say that they found courage because of a footprint you once left behind. They may not use your exact name, may not know all the battles you passed through, may not understand the cost of every yes you offered in secret, but they will walk upon a path of light that I used your life to prepare. Then you will understand that legacy is not only what you leave behind after you are gone, but the atmosphere you create while you are still living, the values you sow into human hearts, the truth you do not betray, and the love you do not allow to grow cold. The path I lead you on is not only for your feet, it is also an invitation for many others to know that they can still step out of fear, still live differently, and still receive a new inheritance of hope. Continue choosing the light. My beloved child, continue forgiving, being honest, loving, building, and obeying. I am using each small step of yours to connect the past with the future, to turn a healed life into a bridge of blessing, and to allow those who come after you to say, "Here, there was someone who trusted me enough to open the way." Beloved child, I want you to understand that in many great moments of heaven, the beginning is often very small, very quiet, and seen by very few. A yes spoken in the hidden place can redirect an entire season of life, because that word is not merely a sound upon your lips, but a door opening within your heart for my will to enter. When you say yes to me with trust, you are not merely agreeing to do one thing, you are placing your hand in mine, so that I may lead you through what your eyes have not yet seen, what your mind has not yet understood, and what your strength cannot yet carry on its own. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. As in Proverbs 3:5-6, that word is the very breath of a life that knows how to obey. You know me, then you trust me, then you walk with me. Knowing makes your eyes bright, trust warms your heart, and walking causes the path to gradually take shape beneath your feet. Therefore, do not wait until every fear disappears before you offer your surrender. Some of the most precious yeses are born while your heart is still trembling, yet still chooses to believe that I am good. I do not see your yes as a dry command, but as a tender covenant between your heart and my love. When you agree to step into what I have prepared, you allow grace to work in depths you cannot yet measure. there are changes that will begin in your attitude, then spread into your words, into your relationships, into the atmosphere of your family, and continue flowing toward people you have never met. A person who knows how to obey does not only change their own direction, that person can become a turning point for an entire current. To obey is better than sacrifice. As in it Samuel 15:22. Because I am not only looking for what you place upon the altar, I am looking to see whether your heart is willing to belong to me in each choice. When you lay down the ego, the need for control is gently lifted from your shoulders. When you stop demanding to see the whole picture, your soul learns to rest in guidance. And when you walk with that trust, the path is no longer something distant and unfamiliar ahead of you, but life unfolding day by day beneath your feet. Remember Mary, the young woman in Nazareth, when the angel came to her with a calling beyond every human expectation. She was not given an easy road, nor was she guaranteed that people would understand her. That invitation carried great honor, but it also required very deep surrender. In that moment, Mary said, "I am the Lord's servant. Let it happen to me according to your word." As in Luke 1:38. Do you see? One yes, from a humble heart, opened the door for the great chapter of redemption to be revealed in history. She could not control every consequence, nor could she explain everything fully to others. But she trusted that the one who had called her was faithful. From a small room, from a gentle response, blessing touched countless generations. Therefore, when I place before you a step of obedience that seems very private, do not consider it small. In my hands, quiet surrender can carry eternal weight. Perhaps today your yes does not resemble Mary's in that great moment. Perhaps it is only obedience in keeping your heart pure when no one is watching. Obedience in making peace instead of remaining silent in pride. Obedience in beginning again after many seasons of weariness. Obedience in continuing forward even when you only see enough light for the next step. But I say to you that every true yes carries weight before me. Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. As in Luke 16:10, what you call small may be the foundation of something greater that I am building. One stone placed rightly today can become part of tomorrow's road. One honest decision today can teach the next generation to live without fearing the truth. One act of love today can break an old pattern of coldness, suspicion, and self-protection. You do not need to see the full extent of your influence in order to live faithfully. You only need to know that I see, I remember, and I will cause the seed to bear fruit in its proper season. As you continue to keep the rhythm of that yes, the purpose within you will grow deeper, and the burden you carry will become lighter. You will no longer have to drag your life along under the obsession of proving yourself, because your response is not founded on your own strength, but on my faithfulness. The one who calls you is faithful, and he will do it. As in 1 Thessalonians 5:24, you are invited to cooperate, not abandoned to complete by yourself what is beyond your strength. Each time you say yes, I do not only open the way outwardly, but also realign what is within. Motives are purified, vision is widened, courage is renewed, and peace is set as a watchman. There are doors you will not need to break open with strained effort. They will open at the appointed time, when your heart has matured, when your steps are ready, and when the atmosphere around you has been prepared by me. Sometimes the path is not merely lying there waiting for you to find it in my favor. It is also as though it is moving toward you, because the small steps of today have called forth the new chapter of tomorrow. I want you to continue walking with humility, but not timidity. Let your yes become a rhythm of life, not merely a moving moment that passes away. This morning, you obey by receiving the light that is given. At midday, you obey by guarding your mind from the voices that would pull you off course. As evening falls, you obey by giving thanks for what has been completed and placing what remains unfinished back into my hands. In this way, a life is woven not by great declarations, but by each thread of steady faithfulness. Commit your way to the Lord and trust in Him, and He will bring it to pass. As in Psalm 37:5, you keep committing, keep trusting, keep walking, and I will cause what belongs to me to blossom in its proper season. Then one day, you will look back and realize that the path has become a living legacy. The stones once laid down with tears have become a firm walkway for others. The times you chose the light in silence have become a testimony traveling farther than your voice. Those who come after you may not know the full cost of each step you took, but they will receive blessing from the obedience you sowed. Remember, my beloved child, I never waste a yes offered in love. I take your small response, place it within the greater current of my plan, and cause it to bear fruit beyond all you can ask or imagine. Keep walking in the light, because I go before you. Keep saying yes with trust, because I am turning each of your steps into a path of blessing for today, for tomorrow, and for the generations that will still be touched by my grace. Beloved child, when you bow your heart and respond to the light I give you today, you will discover something very deep. You no longer have to wander in tension, trying to find a way by your own strength. There are paths that only appear when your heart is ready, doors that only open when your feet draw near, and arrangements that can only be seen after you have chosen to trust. I do not always spread the entire journey before your eyes like a great map, because I want you to learn to walk in living communion with me each day. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. As in Psalm 32:8, that word is not a distant promise, but my gentle hand resting upon each small decision you make. When you say yes to the present portion of light, you are placing yourself in the flow of guidance, where what is needed will come at the right time. The person you need to meet will appear in the right season, and the strength you need will be given when you truly need to take the step. Do not think that boldness only comes after everything has already opened wide. Many times, it is boldness in faith that causes the path before you to widen. If you stand still, waiting until every lamp is lit at once, you may easily lose the joy of walking with me. But when you step forward with a lightened heart, each stretch of the road will be illuminated one by one, like lamps along a path at night. Not too early to feed pride, and not too late to leave you in despair. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, shining brighter and brighter until the full day. As in Proverbs 4:18, that light grows with the footsteps of the one who knows how to trust. Therefore, do not underestimate a peaceful decision, a kind gesture, a truthful word, or a quiet act of service. Each of these is a stone I use to make the road beneath your feet level, and it may also become a firm foundation for those who will walk after you. I know there are times when you want to ask, what if I step forward and nothing happens? But, my child, obedience is never empty before me. Sometimes the result has not yet appeared, but underneath, the hidden streams of grace have already begun to move. A meeting is being prepared. A word is being refined. A moment is being kept, and a door is being placed in its proper position. I have set before you an open door that no one can shut. As in Revelation 3:8, that door does not necessarily open with a loud sound, but may open very quietly, in an ordinary morning, through a small opportunity, a gentle prompting, or an invitation that seems simple. When you live in a daily yes, you will become more sensitive to those signs, and you will recognize that I do not guide you only through great miracles, but also through small appointments saturated with providence. Remember Ananias in Damascus, a man not as prominent as the great apostles, yet whose heart was soft enough to hear my voice. I told him to go and find Saul, the one who had once spread fear among the disciples, the one whom natural reasoning would have said to avoid rather than approach. Ananias had reasons to be anxious. He could have seen that calling as too dangerous, too difficult to understand, too contrary to his sense of safety. But when I said that Saul was my chosen instrument, Ananias went. He laid hands on the one who had once been a persecutor, called him Brother Saul, and through that quiet obedience, a life was opened in sight, filled with the Holy Spirit, and later became Paul, the one who carried the gospel to many nations. Do you see? One yes from an ordinary person in an ordinary house can touch a history far greater than that person ever imagined. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. As in 1 Corinthians 1:27, I do not need you to be great in the eyes of the world before I can use you. I need a heart that knows how to hear, how to trust, and how to walk. From that story, understand that your yes does not only open a way for you alone. There are people who will be strengthened because you were willing to listen. There are generations who will walk more easily because you were willing to place the first stone. There are hearts that will find hope again because you did not refuse guidance on a day that seemed small. I can use one word you speak at the right time to open someone's eyes. Use your peaceful presence to calm a confused soul. Use one faithful act of yours to rekindle faith in someone who had almost given up. We are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand for us to walk in. As in Ephesians 2:10, this means there are good works already prepared, but they need a heart willing to step into them. When you agree with me, what has been prepared in the unseen realm begins to take shape in everyday life. So, my beloved child, keep your yes pure, and do not let it be mixed with haste or fear. A true yes does not make you rush. It brings you into the steady rhythm of peace. Each morning, receive new light like daily bread from my hand. Each evening, give back to me what remains unfinished, so your heart does not have to carry the burden of tomorrow. The more you walk with me, the more you will understand that the journey is not only about reaching a destination, but about being transformed along the way. I make your heart lighter, your eyes brighter, your hands more open, and your steps more steady. Then one day, you will look back and realize that the path was not only opened before you, it was built through every yes you offered. Keep going, my child. As you draw near, the light will turn on. As you keep your heart faithful, the way will become clear. As you place your trust in me, grace-filled appointments will arrive in their proper season, and your life will become a bright road for many others to step into hope. Beloved child, I want you to understand that a true yes is not only spoken in great moments, but is trained into your breathing through the small things you choose each day. There is a quiet holiness in pausing for a moment before you answer, so that your words do not come out of woundedness but from peace. There is a heavenly beauty in choosing gentleness instead of coldness, faithfulness instead of giving up, gentle discipline instead of allowing yourself to drift with weariness. These things may not make the whole world pay attention, but in my eyes, they are small jewels being joined together into a life of depth. Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. As in Luke 16:10, therefore, do not make light of a kind choice. a brief rhythm of prayer, an act of humility, or one time you keep your heart from retaliating. It is these small yeses that form the channels through which my favor can flow through you, without being blocked by pride, impatience, or distraction. When you live this way, daily work is no longer a chain of tasks to finish, but a place where love is laid down, where light is practiced, where the path appears in every ordinary step. I am not calling you into a heavy life, where every commitment becomes a chain and every responsibility becomes a stone upon your shoulders. I am calling you into the right rhythm, where what needs to be done is done with the strength I give, where your heart is not pressed into exhaustion, where creativity blossoms, not from the pressure to prove yourself, but from the joy of serving in love. Let all that you do be done in love. As in 1 Corinthians 16:14, when love becomes the source, even small work carries fragrance. Difficult work is upheld by grace, and hidden work carries a holy quality. You will realize that focus is not only the ability to remove distractions, but the art of keeping your heart near me. When you say yes to stillness, you protect the light within. When you say yes to integrity, you protect the stream of trust. When you say yes to perseverance, you protect the harvest that has not yet come. And when favor has an open heart to pass through, it does not only renew you, but also touches those around you in a way that is very gentle and very deep. Remember Daniel, the one who lived in a foreign land, where many voices could have caused the human heart to lose its identity. He did not begin with a loud victory before the crowd, but with a quiet decision not to defile himself with the king's food, and later, to keep his daily rhythm of prayer, even when a forbidden decree had been issued. Daniel did not need to be noisy in order to prove that he belonged to me. His faithfulness was woven through quiet, holy habits. When the windows were open toward Jerusalem, he knelt down and prayed as he had always done before. And it was that steady rhythm of yes that kept him firm even in the lion's den. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions, as in Daniel 6:22. Do you see? A life built by small acts of obedience will have the strength to stand in the hour of great testing. I am not looking in you for a moment of emotion that quickly fades. I am building within you a rhythm of faithfulness deep enough that when darkness roars, your heart will still remember the way back to the light. From that faithfulness, you will become a safe space for souls who are silently watching. There are people who do not say it aloud, but they are reading your life as though reading a living letter. They want to know whether forgiveness truly opens the door to freedom, whether honesty still has value, whether love can exist without being conditioned by performance. When you choose forgiveness, you not only free yourself from old chains, but also teach others that the past does not need to rule the present. When you choose honesty, you sow again the foundation of trust in places that were once cracked by suspicion. When you choose to love with endurance, you tell the next generation that people are more precious than results, and that the heart is more worthy of being guarded than winning or losing. You are a letter of Christ, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. As in 2 Corinthians 3:3, therefore, let your life be written with the handwriting of grace. There are people who will find direction not because you preached many words, but because they saw your footprints as peaceful, warm, and trustworthy. I know that sometimes you fear you are not great enough to make an impact. But my child, light does not need to shine across the entire horizon in order to have value. It only needs to shine in the place where I have set it, and the darkness nearby must already begin to retreat. A small lamp in a dark house is still a great grace to someone searching for the door. A kind word on a heavy day can still save someone from despair. One time you keep your promise can still heal a crack in another person's heart. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. As in Zechariah 4:10, I often use the small to prepare the great. Use steady rhythm to build endurance. And use gentleness to bring about changes that violence could never produce. You do not need to force miracles through tension. When you are faithful to the light before you, the wondrous will come like daybreak, without shouting, without rushing, but surely, warmly, and on time. From today, let your yes become your natural breath. No, so that your spiritual eyes may brighten. Trust, so that your heart may be warmed. And walk, so that the path may become clearer beneath your feet. Do not ask yourself how far you can see before deciding to obey. Remember who is walking with you. I am the one who goes before you to open the way, walks beside you to comfort you, and comes behind you to guard the footprints you have placed down. I will never leave you nor forsake you. As in Hebrews 13:5, that word is the foundation beneath every small step you take. Then one day, you will look back and smile, because the things that once seemed unclear have become clear strokes in the drawing. The things that once seemed far away have drawn near in peace, and the yeses that once seemed silent have joined together into a living path. Keep your heart light, your hands open, and your feet tender before my guidance. The most important thing is not that you can control the entire journey, but that you remain in my love as you take each step. And wherever you walk with me, grace will have a channel to flow through. Light will have a place to dwell, and your life will become a gentle invitation for many people to step into hope. Beloved child, pause for a moment, not to return and live in the old days, but to look with eyes that I have healed. There were stretches of the road where, as you passed through, you saw only dust, weariness, and unanswered questions. But today, as my light shines back upon each turn, you will recognize a gentle arrangement that has been quietly sustaining you for a long time. The silent spaces that once made you think you had been forgotten were, in truth, the places where I allowed your soul to breathe. The delays that once made you afraid were, in truth, the rhythm that kept you from rushing into what was not yet in season. The days you thought were useless, in my hands, became soft soil, where the roots of faith could grow deeper. All things work together for good to those who love God. As in Romans 8:28, that word does not deny your tears, but places those tears within a greater purpose. No step you offered to me has been wasted, and no season entrusted into my hands is beyond being redeemed by grace. I know there were times when you walked without seeing the road far ahead. There were times when you had only enough strength to live through one day, only enough faith to whisper a small prayer, only enough courage not to collapse. But my child, even when you could not name what I was doing, I was still writing the music of your life with mercy. There are high notes of joy, low notes of trial, and long rests that made you think the sound had ceased. But in the hand of the Father, even silence has its rhythm. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As in Psalm 119:105, I do not always illuminate the entire horizon, but I have not allowed your feet to walk in absolute darkness. Each portion of light that was just enough has brought you to the place where you stand today. And the very place where you are standing will become a step toward a wider, deeper, and brighter path. Remember the people of Israel when I led them across the Jordan River. The waters before them did not disappear from a distance so they could feel safe before stepping forward. Rather, when the feet of the priests touched the edge of the water, the river stopped, and the people crossed over on dry ground. Then I commanded them to take 12 stones from the middle of the river and set them up as a memorial for their children after them. When future generations asked, "What do these stones mean?" They would tell how I opened a way through a place that had seemed impossible to cross. As recorded in Joshua 4, "Do you see? I did not only bring them across the river, I turned the very place that had once been a barrier into a sacred memory. So those who came after them would know that I am the one who makes a way." Your life also has stones like this. Days that seemed blocked. Fears that seemed ready to swallow you. Narrow passages you crossed, not by your own strength, but by my preserving hand. Therefore, do not be ashamed of the marks that have been healed. Those wounds are no longer a sentence against you. They are evidence that grace has passed through the most painful places and did not leave you behind. The traps that once sought to bind your feet can now become milestones, declaring that I intervened at the right time. The things that once made you shrink back are now being placed by me back into the story as chapters that reveal my faithfulness is stronger than your weakness. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. As in Joel 2:25, my restoration is not only the drying of tears, but also the making of once devastated ground able to bear fruit again. When you place the past into my hands, it no longer weighs upon your shoulders, but is transformed into a testimony, into a lamp, into a sign for those who are searching for the way in the night. Also remember that your journey has never belonged to you alone. Every yes you have spoken in secret, every time you chose what was right while your heart was still trembling, every act of love you gave when you yourself also needed comfort, has been sowing seeds into fields wider than your eyes can see. Perhaps today you have not yet seen anyone strengthened by your faithfulness, but blessing has its own way of sprouting in the season I appoint. Those who sow in tears shall reap with joy. As in Psalm 126:5, there are seeds watered by hidden tears. Yet one day they will become shade where others can rest. Your family may learn how to love again through the tenderness I am building within you. Your friends may find courage by seeing that you did not give up. Someone you have never met may be enlightened by the testimony you leave behind. When you tell your story, tell it like someone placing memorial stones beside the riverbank, not to exalt the pain, but to exalt the one who led you through. Do not tell it with the voice of someone ruled by the past, but with the humility of one who has been rescued and renewed. We are comforted so that we may comfort those who are in any trouble. As in 2 Corinthians 1:4, what I have done within you is not locked away inside personal memory, but opened like cool water for souls that are dry and weary. Someone will hear you and understand that they too can keep living. Someone will look at your footprints and know that there is still a safe way forward. Someone will see your healed scars and believe that my hand can also mend their life. Therefore, my beloved child, step into the next chapter not with a fearful heart, but with deep gratitude. You have not merely passed through, you have been shaped, protected, taught, and made deeper in love. The path ahead is not separate from what is past, but is built upon every lesson I have redeemed. The old steps now shimmer like stars across the sky of memory, not because they were never painful, but because I have placed my light upon them. Keep walking, leaving behind you not traces of fear, but a legacy of faith, faithfulness, and love. I am with you in what has passed, in the place where you now stand, and in the road that is opening ahead. And as you continue walking, your life will keep becoming a gentle testimony that I waste nothing that is placed in my hands. Beloved child, I want you to step into the road ahead not with the tension of someone who needs to know every turn, but with the peace of one who has learned to recognize the hand that is leading them. There will still be unexpected turns, mornings when you wake without knowing what the day will bring, and moments when you must choose between worry and trust. But now you have a foundation firmer than every prediction. The light I give will always be enough for the ground directly before your feet. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As in Psalm 119, 105, that lamp is not given, so you may control the entire future, but so you may walk today with a heart no longer commanded by darkness. True peace is not found in holding every answer in your hands, but in knowing who is walking with you. If I go with you, then even the road that has not yet fully appeared is no longer a place to fear. It becomes a holy journey, where every step is an opportunity for you to see my love acting with subtlety, perfect timing, and kindness. I have taught you that one small yes, when offered in faith, you can open doors that your own strength could never push open. Therefore, every morning, when new light touches your eyes, let your heart speak to me before it speaks to the world. Say yes to the good thing I place before you, a kind word instead of a harsh one, a moment of stillness before a decision, a faithful action even when no one applauds, a letting go of what has weighed upon your mind for far too long. Commit your way to the Lord and trust in Him, and He will bring it to pass. As in Psalm 37:5, you commit not because you are meaninglessly weak, but because you have found the place where true strength begins. When you say yes to today's portion of light, I will open the next portion of light at the right moment. You do not need to force the miraculous to happen. You only need to remain in the right rhythm with me, and what needs to come will arrive like the dawn that knows its appointed hour. Remember my people in the wilderness, when I led them not by a map engraved on stone, but by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. The Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light. As in Exodus 13:21, they did not know every stretch of the road from Egypt to the promised land, but they knew the sign of my presence before them. When the pillar of cloud stopped, they stopped. When the pillar of cloud moved, they walked. Do you see? My guidance often comes in such a living rhythm, not so that you may store up certainty, but so that you may learn to walk closely with me each day. There are times when I cause you to pause, so your soul may be restored. There are times when I urge you forward, so your faith does not fall asleep. There are times when I veil what lies far ahead, so you will not carry tomorrow with today's strength. But whether by day or by night, whether in sun or wind, I am still the one who goes before you, and my light does not run out along the way. Therefore, guard your thoughts like one guarding a lamp in the night. Do not let hurried voices, dark assumptions, old fears, or sharp judgments tilt the sail within you. Think on whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report. As in Philippians 4:8, this is the garden where I want you to sow seeds each day. When a thought weighs upon your heart, bring it to me instead of allowing it to build a home in your mind. Say to me, Father, this makes me afraid. I give it back to you. This is scattering my heart. Please bring me back into the light. This is making me weary. Please replace it with your promise. Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you. As in 1 Peter 5:7, I do not rebuke your concerns. I want to touch them with tenderness, so that your mind may be renewed, your words may become kinder, your gaze clearer, and your steps steadier. In the place where you touch your limits, I will also meet you with abundant grace. I do not merely comfort you so you may feel calm for a moment and then leave you to manage on your own. I restore what has become tangled, lift what has grown weary, and join together the pieces that seem to have fallen from your hands. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. As in 2 Corinthians 12:9, therefore, Limitation is no longer a wall of ending, but a threshold where you experience my power in a way that is gentle yet enduring. What needs to be arranged? I will arrange. What needs to be healed? I will heal what seemed to have missed its season. I can still redeem. The trials that once made you tremble will become testimonies of my keeping. The traps that once tried to stop you will become milestones. The wounds that have been mended will no longer make you ashamed, but will shine as signs that I did not let you go. And my child, this journey does not belong to you alone. Every yes you offer, every decision to stand in truth, every act of love, every time you choose forgiveness instead of passing on bitterness, can become a stone laid down for those who come after you, your family, your community, and even generations not yet born may receive the fragrance of your faithfulness today. The righteous walk in integrity. Blessed are their children after them. As in Proverbs 20:7, that blessing is not only something outward, but a new atmosphere, a new way of living, a new faith that darkness does not have to be passed down as an inheritance. When you live as one who is loved, called, and sent, others will see a safe path to follow. They may not know the full cost of every choice you made, but they will receive blessing from the light I have used your life to keep upon the earth. Now, as your heart has grown quiet before my presence, let prayer flow without decoration, needing only to be true. Say to me, Father, I offer to you the deepest part of my heart, the beautiful desires, the thoughts that still need to be set in order, and the new days opening before me. Please bring everything within me into alignment with your goodwill. Let your peace warm the rhythm of my heart again, so that from that still place I may walk steadily. Today, I do not ask to see the whole picture. I only ask for enough light for this step and for your hand to guide the next one. I say yes to today's portion of light. Please open the next way at the time you have appointed. Guard my mind. Renew me by the living word. Help me recognize your voice, gentle yet firm, and teach me to release every unnecessary thought into your hands. Continue saying to me, Father, where my own strength reaches its limit, may your favor lift me up again. Whatever within me needs restoration, please restore it. Whatever needs to be joined together again, please join it. Whatever seems to have fallen apart, please fit it into a new beauty. I thank you because the roads that once seemed difficult to understand are now becoming testimonies of your keeping. Please engrave deeply within me the identity of one who is loved, called, and sent, so that I do not live by chance, but according to holy purpose. Please use each small step of my obedience to open a path of blessing for my family, my community, and those who will come after me. Today I answer, yes. I will follow you from knowing to trusting to walking. Please keep me in the rhythm of your love. I place my hand upon my heart and smile. Because you are here, help me be faithful to today's portion of light and courageous enough to receive tomorrow's portion of light. Lead me, beloved Father, because the path is becoming bright, and I know that this light will bring me to the place where love, hope, and fullness of life are waiting within your goodwill. Beloved child, when every noise within your heart has grown quiet, do not search for a beautiful prayer to offer me, because what I delight to receive is not polished wording, but a truthful soul willing to open itself before its Father. Come to me as you are, with dreams that are still tender, with thoughts still tangled like threads, not yet untied, with new days standing outside the door of your heart while you do not yet know how to welcome them. I do not require you to understand everything before you are allowed to pray. I invite you to pray so that As you speak with me, your heart may be set in order under my light. Pour out your heart before him. As in Psalm 62:8, that is an invitation of love, not a command of pressure. Therefore, speak to me with a simple breath. Father, I bring before you the deepest place within me, where there are beautiful desires that still need to be purified, where there are concerns that need to be put back in their proper place, where the plans of tomorrow need to be touched by your wisdom. Please do not let my heart be pulled away by what is hurried, but bring everything within me into harmony with your good, holy, and loving will. When you pray in this way, you are not escaping from life, you are returning to the source of life. I want my peace not merely to visit you like a light breeze and then leave, but to become a new rhythm within your heart, warming the places that once grew cold because of anxiety, softening the places that once became hard because of wounds, and strengthening the places that once wavered because of too many outside voices. May the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way. As in 2 Thessalonians 3:16, that peace will not make you weak, but will help you walk steadily from a deep, still point, where you know you are loved before you have to accomplish anything. Say to me, Father, let your peace become the place where I am anchored. Let me not react from fear, decide from haste, or speak from wounds, but from the stillness born in your presence. From that place, teach me to walk step by step with what is enough, not too quickly that I lose the ability to listen, and not too slowly because doubt is holding me back. Beloved child, I know you often want to see the whole picture so that your heart may feel more at ease, but I am teaching you a deeper kind of ease, peace that comes from knowing my hand is still holding you, even when your eyes can only see the nearest part of the road. Do not ask for light in order to control the whole future. Ask for light so you may be faithful today. In the morning, let me hear your loving kindness. For in you I trust. Show me the way I should go. As in Psalm 143:8. That word is the breath of one who does not need to hold the entire map, but only needs to hear the voice of their Father as the new day begins. Say to me, Father, today I do not demand to see every turn. I only ask for enough light for the step before me. Help me know what needs to be done right now, the word that needs to be spoken today, the thing that needs to be released in this hour, and the matter that needs to be waited for in peace. I say yes to the portion of light you have placed before me. Please open the next portion when your appointed time comes, so that my faith may not grow through tension, but through gentle and enduring trust. Remember the boy Samuel in the temple, when my voice called in the quiet of the night, and at first he did not recognize it. He ran to Eli because he thought his teacher was the one calling him. But then he was taught how to respond. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. As in at Samuel tree, T. Do you see? Spiritual maturity begins with a heart that knows how to listen. Samuel did not need to create the voice. He only needed to stand in the right posture of one ready to recognize it. You are the same. In the nights when your heart still carries many questions. In the mornings when you do not yet know where to go. Learn that prayer. Father, speak, for I am listening. Make the ear of my heart sensitive to what comes from you, and calm before the sounds that do not belong to you. Help me discern your voice, gentle yet firm, from the voice of anxiety, the voice of shame, the voice of hurried desires, or the voice of the world pulling me away from the light. And when you ask me to guard your mind, understand that you are inviting me into a very precious place. Your mind is not a wasteland where every random thought may be planted carelessly. It is a garden I desire to tend with the living word. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my thoughts. See if there is any wicked way in me, and lead me in the everlasting way. As in Psalm 139, 23-24. Pray this, Father, please shine your light upon the thoughts I have held for too long, the assumptions that make me weary, the fears disguising themselves as wisdom, and the memories that have not yet been healed but still quietly control my reactions. Renew my mind, not merely so that I may think more positively, but so that I may think more rightly in your light. Place your word within me like a clear stream, washing away what is heavy, so that my decisions may carry the fragrance of kindness. My words may be seasoned with grace, and my gaze may learn to find what can be redeemed in others. So pray, my beloved child, not as one who has been left alone to fix yourself, but as a child sitting near their father, allowing love to work from within. Say, Father, I give you everything unnecessary that has been taking up space in my heart. I give you the noise, the comparisons, the worries that have not yet come, the unanswered questions, and even the parts of me that are still afraid to trust. Teach me to let go without despairing, to wait without withering, to walk without rushing, and to love without losing the purity of my heart. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. As in 2 Timothy 1:7, let that spirit be within me today, then rise with a lighter heart. Because true prayer does not end when your lips fall silent. It continues to live in the way you walk. I am here, listening to you, guiding you, and realigning the rhythm within you with kindness. Keep saying yes to today's portion of light, and I will keep you on the path of life.